Good evening.
Good evening. Hi, Pakzad. How are you?
Who am I? I'm
How are you,
Pakzad.
I told?
Okay, okay. I'm good. I'm
It
good.
was a
Yeah,
joke of the day.
yeah, yeah. That's a good joke. Yeah. So
Hello.
it's
That
nice
makes
to.
the uh, mood very light.
No, no. I think that who are you is always a question when I'm surrounded with chartered accountants. Yeah,
So,
and
non-CA within the chartered accountant community.
till I start cracking non-veg jokes, and then I'm accepted into the community. So anyway, but I think we're good. Thank you for having me. Uh, I'll try and do justice the best that I can in this session. Uh, these are
Uh,
challenging times, no doubt. Uh, and all the people matters are seen as soft matters, uh, while actually they hit hardest. So
And no one pays more attention to it because everything is abstract.
yeah, yeah, I know. And the problem is that what we have also we don't focus on, and that falls through the funnel there. So, we focus on what we don't have versus what we have, and that's where the problem starts. So, I think that also what works for, if we can get things to work for 10 people properly, it will work for 40 people as well. So I think it's how you build those pillars in that are required to take things further. At the end of the day, the top and bottom line is what matters, but the in between is the heartbeat, which is the pulse, which will be required as well to survive. And
yeah,
I think the competition is ever increasing. Yeah. You all have added
yeah,
people to the meeting.
yeah.
Started.
We're actually adding right now. Paras, should we
Yes.
start?
Uh, yes, we can start.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to this practice management series, our growth series. This is the fourth webinar in that series. As per one of the latest statistics, there are approximately 1 lakh CA firms, or little more than 1 lakh CA firms, out of which nearly 90% CA firms are proprietorship concerned. One of the major reason for this kind of I would say lopsided proprietorship concern is retention of people or joining hands with people. And that is where HR functions take the utmost importance as far as CA firms are concerned. Although there are many challenges as far as HR function is concerned in industry or in major organizations also, but we CA firms have different challenges. Say for example, articleship period of 2 years, how to incentivize chartered accountants, how to incentivize our long employees with respect to their loyalty, their work and everything. And that is the reason we thought that HR, for how to manage HR functions, how to have some practical systems for HR functions for CA firm. That was the need, and that is the reason we thought for this program. To give an insights on this program, we have a learned speaker who has had nearly more than 2 decades of experience as far as HR functions is concerned. He has worked in various industries, and one of those was the CA firms. So that is the reason he is the perfect fit for today's session. So with this opening remark, now I would request CA Paras Savla to address the audience. Thank you.
Thank you, President. And it's been privilege to have an introductory remark for the today's speaker. Uh, the subject line lies very hard to every successful chartered accountant firm, that people management. Without people management, firm can't succeed. The profession that thrives on the precision, compliance, and trust. It is easy to focus solely on the technical expertise, but yet behind every audit, every tax advisory, or every financial consultancy, there are the people, the teams who motivate, collaborate, growth, determine the quality service what we deliver. Without these people, the because the if we consider we are doing some producing something, these people are the person are the machines who produce something. So managing the people in the CFM is not just about assigning the task or meeting deadlines. It's about creating an environment where the profession feels valued, empowered, and inspired to contribute their best. Effective people management strategies help us to balance the dual demand of technical excellence and human connections. Uh, that we are very person who has been to the heart of this thing in the CA firm for the decades, uh, making the talent development, work-life balance, leadership and mentorship, and so on. So by looking at this thing, all these points, let us have hear from the today's speaker that reflection on the simple truth how this the people management skills help us in growing our profession growing our practice, um, and the let us commit for managing the motivating monitoring our teams with the same diligence we apply to numbers, because when the people thrive the firm will flourish. uh, the technique skills we have today's speaker who will guide us how we can work on this and how this should be a core of our uh, in our office along with the service delivery. With these few words, I give it back to the organizer to take it further.
Yeah. Harsh,
Hello. Yeah, thank you, Paras bhai. Now I would request CA Paras Maru to briefly introduce our today's speaker first.
yeah. Thank you, Harsh. Uh, it's Good evening, everyone. It's my privilege to introduce our today's learned speaker, Mr. Pakzad Nussirabad. So, Mr. Pakzad has spent more than 25 years leading HR transformation across the professional services firms, from Mastech, Nextdyne, that is SKP Group, Tata, and Accenture, to his recent role as a fractional CHRO at Bhuta and Shah. Almost half of his career has been dedicated to professional services and accounting firms. He has implemented success factors, drawing box, and PeopleSoft systems. He has handled complex mergers and acquisitions, managed multi-generational CA workforces, and learned the hard way what keeps the good people and what sends them running to the industry role. Today, he would be sharing, I have lost good people. Here is what I have learned. The practical system that cuts turnover 20 to 40% and saves firms lakhs in hidden costs. No theory, just battle tested playbooks from someone who has been in the HR hot seat. From onboarding the actual walks to the three retention pillar every CA firm needs. Pakzad's handling you the roadmap he wishes he would have had 15 years ago. With this brief introduction, I welcome you, sir, and I hand over to the Harsh.
Yeah, thank you, Paras, for that brief introduction. Before Pakzad ji takes over, I would request the Vice President of our association, CA Gautam Mota, to hand over the digital memento to our speaker today. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So
Uh,
I hope the session would be enriching for all, and on behalf of all the participants present over here, I would propose a e-memento to you and request the organizers to display it on the screen.
I'll have to stop sharing for that.
Yeah.
yeah, just for 2 seconds.
Balloon.
I'll just stop sharing. There you go. Over to you.
Karan, are you sharing it?
Yes, I'll check it.
So a small e-certificate on behalf of all of us, and hope this would be enriching for all of us, the session for today's. Sir, over to you, sir.
I hope so too. So, y'all, can I take over?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Yeah, I'll just again share that. 1 second. Hold on. All that planning we did. Hold on, I hope it works again. Huh? Yeah, there we go. You can
Yes,
see a
visible.
yeah, great. You
Visible.
can see a mini me at the bottom of the screen also, no? On the right side.
Yes, visible.
Great. So you keep referring to me as the learned speaker. I've not stopped learning. So let's just say that I'm a learning speaker. And what I'm going to cover today with you all will either keep you up at night or might put you to sleep in the presentation itself, you know. So depending on how many of you all are doing parallel work and putting me on the side and listening in also, I appreciate at least listening. So because even if you take away, say, 10 or 20% of what I'm saying today, it will definitely help you all in some way or the other to manage your people better. See, people management is not rocket science. It's just that we have to have interest to do it. Um, as, as mentioned, I've spent 2 decades, rather 25 years, and out of that, 10 to 12 years I've spent in professional services. I've lost good people. When I say I've lost good people, I speak about it as a firm that I've lost good people. Uh, can everyone go on mute? Sorry. Yeah, I've muted the person. Yeah, not a worry. See, I man teams from 5 people to 50 people, and the experience has been valuable. Over the next 1 hour, what we're going to cover is why people leave. And spoiler alert, though we discussed before the presentation started, it's rarely salary that drives people away. What systems work even in a 10% firm, and how to build retention that compounds by itself. And I'll leave you with a snapshot of a 90-day action plan, which you can implement. Sorry if my eyes are going here. I have a dual screen, so my presentation for me is on the right side of me, and my camera is in front of me. So apologies for that in advance. Let's move on. I'm also using an AI platform called Gamma for the presentation. So it's not your conventional PowerPoint. So it will move in a different way than PowerPoint. So don't get worried. It's the future, and it's something that saved me lots of time and made me focus on the content rather than wasting hours on just putting it up on screen. Yeah. So let's start with a story that all of you recognize, you know, a strong technical person, someone who has been really good at what they do, and they suddenly resign. And then you'll ask them why. They'll give you vague reasons. I wanted to change. I'm exploring industry opportunities. Then there'll be a flurry of health reasons, citing shifting of cities or family issues. But the real reason is rarely to do with the work itself. It's not that they didn't like auditing or tax or compliance. The real reasons lie in them not seeing a clear future. The the partnership for them felt like a political organization, which was not merit based, or they felt that they were invisible. No one acknowledged their work, and most of the time I've seen it. I've spent hours in the office with them because I just wondered what they were doing for 60 plus hours a week during season time. They're burnt out, or lastly, they didn't trust the system. What I mean by that was it was inconsistent, it was unfair treatment, When good people leave, it's not a hiring problem, it's a system problem. But there's good news. Systems, as you all know, are fixable, and you don't need to be Deloitte to have good systems. You just need to be intentional to do it. Moving on. Sorry. So let's let me hit you with something that you're comfortable with first. That is numbers. And two key conservative statistics, as I call them, from decently performing firms have a 20% plus attrition rate amongst first year professionals in accounting. That means almost 1 in 5 people who start are gone within the first year. And I think you must have experienced that. Probably, as I said, these numbers might feel conservative to you all. And 41% of the staff leave accounting firms within 3 years. In fact, a firm that I audited recently, when I checked their tenure data for a firm of say 40 plus years, had only, I could count the number of people that were 3 years plus on my digits. So that's a story to take away. And so it's not only firms that are 10-year-old that have not built tenure, but even firms with heritage and legacy have not built tenure. So why does this happen? It's not primarily the salary. If it was, we see exits across all firms, but we don't. Lack of growth, they're not learning new things, unclear career path. When will they make senior? When will they make partner? I spoke about burnout. And one of the quiet ones is poor onboarding. They started confused and they never caught up. Now the financial impact, because I said that I need to keep your interest with numbers, right? So each departure and what it costs you. So, I mean, there is a hidden recruitment fee, 1.5 to 2.5 lakhs for the junior most, and it goes up. Time costs 10 to 15 hours of manager partner time, hiring, interviewing, onboarding, productivity lost. New person takes 3 to 6 months to ramp up. Meanwhile, your clients suffer. There's a lost productivity there. There's a knowledge drain. The person had client relationships, understood complex engagements. And finally, the other problem is the impact that it has on the morale of the team. When they see good people leaving, they start wondering if they should too. So it's a compounding effect that happens. So if I do the replacement cost mathematically, I mean, if you look at industry standard is 50 to 100% of the annual salary. So for a 25 lakh professional, if I look at it, if recruitment is 2.5 lakhs, manager time is 1.5 lakhs, productivity is 4 lakhs, knowledge drain is 4 lakhs, that's almost 12.5 lakhs per person. If you're losing 2 people a year, that's like 15 to 25 lakhs in hidden costs that you're losing. So that's a lot of loss, which is not sustainable by firms such as yourself. So most firms don't see this cost because it's spread across the productivity of the other team members, and it puts load on them. Client quality takes a hit, which then gets addressed somehow, and manager time is also eaten into. So the managers are usually doing the juniors' work. Most of the time, they're covering in not only as the manager, but as the junior itself. Anyway, so let's move on. So patterns that I have seen, and probably you have seen as well, and these are divided into 4 patterns. One is a strong technician leaves your team. You have someone who's technically brilliant, an amazing auditor, knows IFRS inside out, clients love him, but one day he resigns. When you ask why, he says, I want to explore industry, want a change of pace. What's really happened? He maybe felt that the partnership was political. See, I'm not being very down to it, but there's a word for it which I don't like to use, but it didn't feel professional. It's more family run. They watched someone else who was less talented get promoted because they were the partner's favorite. And partner's favorite could be on a lot of grounds, So he's the one that gets all the work done on time, or he never says no. So, and he's been a senior for 5 years there, and he just does not see a path to the next level. So why should he stay in the first place? Pattern number two, a manager departs. You promoted someone to manager because they are excellent technically, but have potential. But within 2 years, they're gone. Why? There's no management structure to support them, no training, no expectation setting, no feedback. You threw them to the deep end and expected them to swim. Now, the third pattern, junior staff confused on day one. An employee joins. I've seen this plenty of time. When the employee joins, he gets a desk, he gets assigned a senior, and then nothing else happens. No orientation, no role clarity, no buddy. They're confused for 3 months, and then they leave even before completing one busy season. And that's the most frustrating part, because you were depending on him to be part of the team for the busy season. Then lastly, the silent departures. You lose people only when you notice they're submitting their resignation letter. And then the responses from the manager, I never saw it coming. They seem fine to me. And that's a real red flag. If you don't see departures coming, you are not paying attention. That's the most common thing you hear from these teams, that they've not seen it coming. But it's solvable because if departures surprise you, it means you don't have a system to catch people before they check out mentally. The first checkout that happens is the mental checkout. Sorry, I'll move on. Okay, so enough of the doom and gloom here. This is fixable. It's about how much effort you're willing to put in. Just 1 second. Yeah. So, as I said, enough doom and gloom. I think I've given you the base realities, and you all must be wondering, oh, he's not telling us anything new. This is what we see. But this is what everyone is seeing. So there are 3 things that you need to know. One, you're not alone. Most CA firms don't have formal people management systems. And you know what's common? The partner handles hiring, onboarding is ad hoc, appraisals happen once a year, policies are in someone's head. You're not behind, you're just starting. Let's look at it on a positive note. The second thing you need to know, that small changes work. You don't need to overhaul everything. In fact, trying to do everything at once is how most firms are failing. I've seen this real time. Maybe just start with an onboarding checklist, a one-pager, a one policy document, a leave, probably start with a leave policy, or have role descriptions. Get a HRMS tool. I'm not even saying get something advanced, but get something where you can look at your people in an organized manner. So I wouldn't even prescribe an HRMS, but a HRIS. The difference being an information system versus a management system. That's it. Small changes, big impact. Now coming to the third thing is systems scale. That's the beautiful part. So if you can get it to work for 10 people, when you are 10 people, you will be able to use it for the 40 people that follow, or the 30 people that follow. So that's the beautiful part about it. Sorry, 1 second. My system's hung. Yeah, moving on. So, most of, whenever I talk to chartered accountants or related professionals, they tell me that These are all the soft things. Sorry, 1 second. The presentation is giving a little bit of problem. Apologies for this, yeah. Just give me a second. I'm stuck. You can still see the presentation, guys?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Yeah. So moving on, I think I can't see the presentation. That's the problem. Okay, there we go. So most of the time we're told that it's the soft stuff that so it's not the soft stuff that what we feel it is and how we need to handle it. Heavy bureaucracy, it's not a compliance theater. We need to move from looking at it that way to see something that people management systems are not sorry, let me just catch my drift. Many chartered accountants think that this is soft stuff, HR stuff, not real business. Frankly, I see that as wrong. You know, a people management system is as good as operational excellence. Same rigor that you apply to client work. When you audit a client, do you show up and hope that everything's fine, or do you have a plan, a process, checkpoints, documentation? So why wouldn't you apply the same rigor that you apply to people to audit to, say, a people management process? People management systems are not bureaucracy, red tape, compliance theater. What I mean by compliance theater is what time did he come in, what time did he go out? Let's track that. Let's see how that works out. Heavy processes that slow you down. People management systems are more about clarity, growth, feedback, development, retention. It's a system. It's a logical flow. The ROI is real. So operational excellence, consistency, fairness, predictability, same client gets the same treatment regardless of which partner handles them. It's like I always reflect on I like drinking coffee, and unfortunately I like drinking American coffee, so Starbucks. And whenever you enter a Starbucks, the one thing that you get at every Starbucks is the same treatment and the same experience from I mean, surprisingly, every Starbucks person is called a partner. So they call each other partner also. And regardless of which partner deals with you, you get the same experience. And that's what operational experience brings about. Second, retention saves you money. You've already calculated this earlier in the slide. Prevent one departure and your system pays for itself. Then your other ROI is from being a growth enabler. You cannot scale beyond the founder's capacity without systems. At 15 people, the partner's time is already 100% consumed. If it's not, I'll be surprised. At 25 people, the partner is literally drowning. Systems will let you delegate systems, and that too with confidence. Another thing that systems will bring about is some level of predictability. When people know what to expect, they perform better. When expectations are silent, people are confused. So, three systems that matter the most. And I think that let's start at the door itself at onboarding. The first 90 days will define whether the person will stay or whether the person will leave. Get this right, and people feel invested in from day one. So the other part is performance clarity. Know where your people stand. They know where they stand. No appraisal surprises, regular feedback. I will cover this in more depth. It's just the starting off that I want to get the basics right. The other is career visibility. Show them a path forward, not some vague path, but something that's clear and uh, CA qualification support if that can be provided. Don't only have a partner track. Everybody can't become a partner. You can have specialist roles even in smaller firms. What I mean by specialist roles is probably audit leader, tax leader, GST leader. What's the actual progression path? Do you have that? Do you have clarity to provide them with on that? So, I put it as 2025 because we're just starting off in a 26. And I thought about it, I kept it because I still have not built a context, and this context is already in place since 2025. The war on talent is getting more and more complicated. I'm sure that you guys have realized you're not only competing, you're not only the training ground for the big four. Now you have the tech sector that has come up, which is offering crazy salaries to chartered accountants, startups, unicorns, directly wanting chartered accountants to come in because they see the value of them in scaling, etc. Corporates, I don't need to tell you, they have the branded hiring engine, as I call it. Brand on the door is something that every family wants to see their son and daughter levitate to. Other startups that are taking on, and a lot of chartered accountants I've spoken to want to start businesses, most of them which are outside of the realm of professional services, more into other areas. And finally, obviously, industry is very attractive because you do 1/4 of the work and you get paid double the salary. So each of these is actively recruiting or chasing your people. The hard truth is when it comes to articles now, I think that this is something that I've observed, that articles are increasingly seeing the CA profession as a stepping stone, not a destination, not a career, a stepping stone to something else. Why? Not because the CA path is broken, but because the firms feel more political and not merit based. Growth path is unclear. Leaders feel distant. Now, it's not that the partners don't want to connect with their people, but if the partner is dealing with so many parameters which are not even revenue generating, how does he get that time that he needs to make that connection with his people? Excellence isn't visibly rewarded. Good work goes unnoticed. In the early days when I was with my first firm, Sudhit K. Parekh, there was a partner that was known as the 5-star partner. And whenever he felt that somebody's in his cabin, you'd see a big box and it was full of 5-star chocolates. This is, I'm talking 2011, 2012. And anything that he would see that it added value, he would say that, we'll talk about this later, but right now I just want to commend you for the work that you've done. Whether it's just one small correction he's done or he's done a big one, he would take care of it later down the line. But there and there, he would make the people feel appreciated. And that time the firm was small. So, it was around 100 people. Small in that sense because it grew to 1,600 then. Excellent work-life balance gets compromised. See, 60 hours a day, no relief, and then you get a mail which says that, oh, you reported late to work on that day, is not going to cut it. That person feels miserable when he sees that email itself. And I think that it destroys their morale totally. But here's what I want you to hear. This is not the inevitable, it's a choice. You can build a firm where ambitious people choose to stay, not because they feel trapped, but because they see a real future. Coming to the articles, so I think that what's happened is that there are two types of articles that I see. I call them the training ground seekers and the career builder seekers. The training ground seekers are the 3 to 5 year category, CA qualification plus experience inclusive. They move to industry or they start their own thing or view the firm as a stepping stone. This is real and it's not going to change, and don't fight it. This is always going to be 30 to 40% of that article pool. And then you have the career builders to build real career in professional services, love the intellectual challenge of CA work. I think that that intellectual challenge is something that you guys need to learn how to detect early. Value recognition, growth, fair treatment, accessible leaders. They will stay with you long term if you invest in them. They are ambitious and committed, not desperate. This is your target audience. So if you have an article pool and somebody had asked a question that how should I structure my firm, and I think that given the cost challenges and the delivery, almost 50% of your firm people are going to be articles. And out of those articles, around 60 to 70%, 60 may stay with you and grow with you, and that's a good thing. If you have anything lower than 60% staying with you, I would start worrying. So if you have an exodus of articles, you're wasting your time. So now coming to the real competitive advantage, and as I told you, this presentation is a little different. Build a firm, where meritocracy is visible, excellence rewarded, not politics. Advancement is based on competence, not connections. Leaders are accessible. What I mean by that, you're present. When you're present, you listen. You're supportive. You're not just a remote figurehead. Yes, you will be known for your tax capabilities or your awards that you gathered or your talks that you've given. But if you're not mentoring someone, they're not going to even look at you from a future perspective because you're not going to leave any legacy there. Growth is real, not some someday partnership. So what I mean by someday partnership is one of the things that is said in induction, someday you will become a partner. Show them real growth, that you're going to grow into a senior in 2 years' time, a manager role in 4 years' time. Give them the options beyond partnership. Everything is not partnership. They can be technical leaders. Even in partnerships, there are two routes that I mean, it's there in the big four, and it's definitely possible here as well. One is the technical route and one is the business route. So unfortunately, you can't have too many in the technical route. The difference between the two is the business route is the one where they're in charge of bringing in revenue and also managing the profitability. So work life is balanced and support, not just a slogan, actually structured. You know your busy season and you know your lean seasons. So, provide that flexibility. Don't go by just you have set a rule that everybody should be in office from 9 to 5 or 9 to 7 or 9 to 10 or whatever. Try and be flexible around non-peak times. Maybe sometimes tell your people to go home early. That makes a real difference because they've been putting in those hours in season time. But build that as a system, not just as a one-off. fairness is consistent. This is something that same treatment, and sorry if I touch a nerve here, but same treatment regardless of who your parents are or who you know in the firm. Salary should be fair. Opportunities are fair. I mean, the definition of salary being fair is there is a industry benchmark. Unfortunately, this is the one industry where you have to ask 10 people how much are you paying your chartered accountants by year, and probably arrive at some kind of magical formula, which will also still not be sufficient. See, there will be a market average that you reach. You need to know which side of the percentile you want to be on. So what I mean is that there is a market percentile, which is the 50th percentage. Then you decide whether you want to be below that. Do you want to be above that? How much above that? So it's a decision that you need to take based on your margins, based on your revenue targets, and then move forward, because you need to see how to take that forward accordingly. See, another thing is that also some of the firms have been around for ages, and funny enough, this is a startup problem, and this is a problem in chartered accountancy firms as well. And there's a saying by that what got you here won't get you there. So there are certain people in the firm that have been loyal, certain people in the firm that have been with you for the years that have gone by. And however, that does not mean that they're performing at par right now as you're taking on new assets in the firm. So loyalty does not correlate with performance, is what I'm trying to say. So keep performance aside. Yes, loyalty does have its place. Park it accordingly. But if it's the growth path that's concerned, ensure that it's on merit and not on who you know or who your family is. The ambitious people choose, if you do this, the ambitious people will choose to say they build long-term careers with you. And yes, some will move to industry, but as evolution, not as an escape route. And you know what? The fun part about your people that have been ambitious, grown with you, and then moved to industry, those are the same people that are going to give you work. So managing that relationship is very key. Sorry, there's a message. Shall I just check it? Oh, sorry, that's a message for the participants. Yeah. All right. So what is the promise? Your best people aren't leaving you because the CA firm career is broken. They're leaving you because your systems, leadership, or culture made them feel unsafe to build a long-term career over here. Fix that and you will fix your retention. Move on to the next slide. Sorry. Okay, so I think that we are in the AI age, so it's appropriate for me to cover AI, and it's playing a big role. I've been speaking to a lot of firms that have picked up. When I say AI, this includes workflow automation as well. In fact, one of the firms that has done this really well, TMSL, just got acquired by Incorp. And they have done tax automation or GST automation to a whole new level. Another such firm that is doing well in this space, especially in the tax-based LLM space, is Solik out of Chennai, who's seen that the future of tax, especially and audit, lies in automation and creating internal LLMs. What I mean by that is, instead of typing everything into chat GPT and hoping for the best answer, you have a secure space within which you can ask those questions, which are picked up from relevant rulings and judgments, which don't hallucinate like AI is known to hallucinate. So there's a lot going on in that space. So many of you are exploring or should be exploring workflow automation and AI to fill this gap. This is smart, no doubt, but it's also a trap if you don't do it right. The gap you're facing is that people stay 3 to 5 years, they leave for industry, declining talent pool, especially in tax. You need constant junior capacity to deliver to client work, but you can't rely on juniors because they're not staying with you long term. It's a real problem. The firm's response, AI assisted audit reviews, catch errors faster than the juniors would, tax compliance automation, templates, calculations, research available, document preparation, engagement letters, working letters, repetitive client work, routine compilations and filings done automated. This is smart, but only if you do it right. I think the cautionary tale over here to follow is don't build your own AI solution. Don't try to customize something. High cost, long implementation, and high risk of failure is what you'll land up with. And I don't think that you will be able to sustain it. Partner with providers who have already solved this. This is not your problem to solve. You're not an AI company, right? So, if I take some examples, there's already integrated audit and tax AI, Workiva, Domo, Alteryx, process automation, UiPath, Blue Prism has CA adapted itself. Purpose-built CA solutions like Carbon and Caseware are there. Look these up. Some might be global, but some of them have literally a retail model where you can use them. Maybe start small and see where that goes. Yeah. The strategic question that needs to be asked is, AI can fill the capacity gap, but it does not fix your culture problem. If your firm has poor systems, unfair treatment, political favorism, no clear growth path, AI is not going to fix that for you. You'll automate routine work, free juniors for better work, but they still leave you because the culture is broken. The right approach would be that focus on fixing your culture and systems first, which I will still continue to tell you more about in this presentation. Then layer in AI to fill the predictable gaps and free people for higher value work. That is, the thing is that you need to create that higher value work. And partner with proven solutions, as I said, don't build your own. I don't think, unless you want to get into AI solution building for the industry, then you can pivot to that completely. There are professional services firms that I know are pivoting. They're moving from being a professional services, a CA firm, to be a solution provider to CA firms or solution providers to industry as well, especially for the CFO community out there. The real opportunity lies in strong culture and fair systems, AI used for routine work, and clear industry transition support or positioning. Become the elite training ground that can attract the best talent. That's your competitive advantage moving into 2026. You're not competing for price. You're competing for being the best place to learn and grow. That's what you'll have to compete on, because you'll never be able to compete on the price or the salary side of things. So learning and growth are things that are there in your artillery. I already showed you the cost of losing people. With that, let's move on to some pitfalls and the fixes associated with the pitfalls. Do we still have an audience? Sorry for this. This sheet is a little automation hasn't helped me here, but let's look at the common pitfalls that I spoke about. Onboarding is where most firms fail. I spoke about it. No formal plan, silent expectations, no buddy system, work wrong projects early, What I mean is thrown into client work unprepared. They make mistakes, their confidence dip, and then they say, maybe this is not the right place for me. If you don't have a buddy system, if they said they don't want to invest in me. Compliance overload, because as you start growing, the compliance that the industry requires is growing. I will cover that in the slides coming up to an extent. You want to move from helping people figure it out rather than leaving them to figure it out themselves when they join the company. So the cost is the technical cost is that people make errors, need heavy supervision, client quality suffers. Cultural, they think this firm does not care for me. They start looking in 6 months, and the timeline. The real productivity should be in 3 to 4 months from the time of their joining. That's the time that a person needs to move from a rolling engine to a running engine. But if it's a bad onboarding, that gets translated into 6 to 8 months. You extend their confirmation, and that starts a trap itself. So what's a practical framework that works? So probably the practical one that, and this has been war tested, industry tested. On the contrary, if you type it into Google, you'll get the same thing. But I've just customized it a little for us. The firm orientation, so the week one, the 90-day onboarding plan is what the first step would be, the firm orientation. Make them feel welcome. That does not mean that you give them those bottles that are branded or pens that are branded or MacBooks, etc. It's more about communicating firm values and culture. If you've not done this, take a Saturday, Sunday and figure out why is it that you exist. What are the values that drive you? What is the culture that you want to build and drive? Then let them know what your client expectations in terms are: quality standards, confidentiality, professionalism, the team structure and reporting relationships. Many of us don't have org charts. So I think that even if you draw it on a piece of paper, it's fine. At least it's there. At least it's visible. Key processes. How do we handle projects? What is expected? And the funny part is that the owner for this, as I said, is the partner or the senior partner. And this eats 2 to 3 hours into their time. So, if you have systems and processes and plan it well, I think you can do it much better. The tone that the partner should be using is a welcoming one. He should be excited about that person joining, not say, "Hi, you're welcome, sit down, let's get working," Make them feel valued from day one. I know you feel that this is all cushy, soft stuff, but this is what they want now. In week 2 and 3 is where the role clarity should be provided. They should know exactly what they are doing and what success looks like, what to cover, role descriptions, key responsibilities, who they support, their manager, their mentor, daily routines, what time, where, what systems, key client and touch points, who will they interact with. This is to be done by the manager, and they need to invest at least 4 to 5 hours in it. Then week number 4 to 8 is where skill building starts. They develop technical competence and gain confidence. If you're using a software for training, audit tools, taxman, etc., get them up and running. Check whether you have the adequate number of licenses. Most of the time, that's a challenge as well. Engagement management, process training. How do we do audits? You obviously have your own audit philosophies, your tax compliances. How do we manage engagements? Client interactions. Don't throw them to the client immediately. Shadow them. Okay, throw them to the client, but go in, send them in with air cover. What I mean by air cover is be there when they fall to pick them up. And that first shadowing also builds that there is somebody that is looking after me. and also pair them with a dedicated mentor or buddy, not just somebody assigned, actually invested in building that person. And yeah, not necessary, though in small firms, the mentor and the manager would be the same, but see if you can interchange that between the manager from another team. That also gives, why I say that is interchange the mentor with the manager from the other team is because it also gives them another opportunity to speak to someone if they're feeling troubled. 10 to 15 hours are definitely going to go into skill building. Day 90, the formal review, check in on fit, course correct if necessary. What I mean by that is that after those 90 days, if that person is not the right person, either if he's the right person, you're on the right track. If he's not the right person, ensure that it's only fair to them and you that you talk about separation, or you look at development and put him on a performance improvement plan. I mean, the questions to ask are you aligned with the firm? Do the values of the firm resonate with you? Are we aligned with you? Do you feel you're a fit? What's going well? What's confusing? What do you need from us going forward? See, what you all must have thought from a formal review is that you're going to review him on the technicals, but it's not that. It's about looking at whether he's aligned with you in the value system of the firm. So, and then on forward, the next 6 months, monthly check-ins or 15-minute check-ins, you can give him 15 minutes of your time. Catch the issues early, proactive support, celebration of wins. Let's just look at the impact that can bring about. It's like a 40% reduction in month 3 to 6 exits. So early exits get reduced. Exits are of two types. One is planned exit. I would not look into this. I already told you that if he's not a fit or she's not a fit or they are not a fit, they need to move out. And 25 to 30% faster in terms of productivity, better technical quality, fewer errors. Team culture improves because if the person feels that he or she is supported, the entire team feels supported because one bad apple can ruin the rest. With that, let's move on to something what I call retention pillars. So the retention strategies that stick. So, okay, you've onboarded the person successfully. Now, how do you keep them? So there are 3 pillars that drive retention and they're not complicated. One is clarity. What I mean by that is if people know where they're going, they'll go. If people rather don't know where they're going, they'll go someplace else. What this means is that every person should know what their role is today, where can it lead, and how they can get there. For CA firms specifically, this is your golden opportunity. The CA qualification is a real achievement. Use it. Somebody asked that beyond the salaries that we are paying, what other benefits can we provide people? So, you can look at covering their fees, study leave can be provided beyond the regulated, coaching if they need it, not just theoretically, actually helping. The clear path way that can be said is that what is the clear path from article to senior to manager to partner? It's not necessary that the end goal is partner. It could be a specialist track as well, because not everybody would be cut out to be a partner. So then written documents are another area, role descriptions with growth expectations, because what are you going to measure it against? You need to tell them what they need to do. Okay, let's take a real example here. In 2 years, you tell them that in 2 years you'll be managing a small client portfolio. To get there, you'll lead audits independently, at least with 2 to 3 small clients, develop tax expertise in a specific area, mentor 1 or 2 junior staff, build client relationships, attend meetings, respond to questions. There is a timeline. Here's what how we'll support you. Here's what you will need to develop. So it's not vague, it's specific. So to get to that milestone of managing a client portfolio, what all does he need to do sequentially to get there, or collectively to get there? If it's explained to them and it's not vague and it's specific, the impact is clear cut, that it reduces 60% of unclear future resignations. So I don't know where I'm going. Most of them say that, I'm just here, I don't know what I'm doing here, except for my monthly salary. That also they'll deduct my late ins, and they'll insufficient hours, and they'll pay me a salary. But beyond that, I'm unclear about my future here. So that's not going to work. Pillar number 2 is performance feedback. People need to know where they stand. And that's not once a year. It's more regular. And what I'm trying to say over here is they need to know what they're doing well. They need to know where they need to improve. And then they need to know where they're progressing. If you just write these 3 things down, this is what needs to be done in those check-ins that you all do on a monthly basis. Probably a 30-minute check-in with a simple agenda. How are things going? What are the things in your way? What are the blockers? What support do you need? Then move that into a more structured, so the monthly are more like chats or check-ins. The quarterly ones are more like structured. What technical skills have you acquired? What technical skills do you need to acquire? What soft skills do you need? What productivity training do you need? What do you need to make? How is your client impact, and how do you want to make it better? How are you progressing towards your goals? So I think that it becomes moreover a comfortable discussion. And then another thing is, client gives positive feedback, immediately recognize. Tell them immediately. Won an engagement, celebrate it. Mentored a junior, somebody mentored a junior well, acknowledge it. So immediate recognition. This is what you all can do. What not to do? Only annual appraisals. By that time, it's too late. Bad habits are embedded. Trust is broken. And you have a difficult case on your hand, because most of you are not trained in parting ways with people. And that's where the difficulty arises. The impact is regular feedback increases engagement by 20 to 30%. People feel seen, people feel invested in. And the third pillar, which you all are already investing in one way, and I'm not talking about the Saturdays are only for training part that you all are talking about. Exam support is huge. Study leave beyond the regular. Fees reimbursement is something that you can look at. Coaching for the ones who have failed once. Mentoring from a senior who has passed their exams. Let them feel valued so that they see that they can build a career with you. Then obviously skill development. As the firm grew, I remember sending somebody abroad because transfer pricing was big at one point in time. Of course, you can work out, everything is not to be given on a platter. So when you send someone abroad, you also take a undertaking from them that they are going to be with you for the next 1 year, because you're investing in them. Don't make it something illogical by investing in them and saying next 5 years you can't go anywhere. It will never work. These also don't stand up too well in courts of law, guys. Skill development in terms of writing the audit methodology with them, client communication skill, training budgets, Now, the last one is wellness. Now, this is something that you need to be generous with meals and flexibility during the busy season. That does not mean that we give one khakra per person, which you collect from the receptionist. It's something that you need to be a little more generous about. Flexible hours in lean season. Say mental health is on the rise, and recently I've managed exits on grounds of mental health. And this has been caused by this can get complicated because it gets combined with the pressure that is being put on the individual by the firm knowingly or unknowingly. And knowingly or unknowingly, the firm becomes responsible for that person's mental health and what follows. So you got to be careful there. The leverage that, see, professional services firms already have the credibility in professional development. That's what we are all about. So you're already in the business of learning. So use that to your advantage for retention. And you'll see a jump in retention definitely. And I've seen it in my years that have gone by. Those that feel that the firm is investing in them invest back in the firm. The other thing is also, flexible working bonus, busy seasons. It's dependent on what work that your firm does, but just imagine that busy season is 60 hours plus, where off season you can have flexible timing. Plan your off sites, your strategy meets then, and also try and see if you can do a mandatory rest post busy season to say, I think if I'm not mistaken, some of the big four shut down in December for 10 days or something. You all don't need to do that, but in some way and form, give back and let them know that you care for them. Show respect for work-life balance because it reduces the burnout and makes the heavy season bearable because they see that there's something to look forward to. So the summary. Clarity lets them know where they're going. Feedback lets them know how they're doing. Investment lets them know that the firm cares. And all this equals into retention. Simple, not complicated, but if not done, does have complications. I think let's move on to the next one. I think somebody had asked this about performance management. I'll cover the question asked along with this only. I think that what do you cover in performance metrics? Say, in bigger firms, it's more like they get into client-based assessments also, but I don't think you have that time or that effort availability at your disposal. So I think that if you're looking at what to measure from a chartered accountancy firm context, is the technical measures. I don't need to tell you them, but so that there is some level of comparability across audit quality, tax accuracy, productivity, in terms of billable hours. Be realistic. Don't set unrealistic targets. This is not the place to be putting stretch goals. Client impact. Do try and see in your own informal way how you can get client feedback, because this is not a client presentation, but when you reach out to a client for feedback, they know that you care. So while this is for technical performance, it's actually also a good way to build inroads to clients for more work. Then the behavioral skills. This is again client interaction, how they operate as a team, initiative that they're taking, problem solving, suggestions for improvement, proactive learning. One of the firms that I'm working with is at a senior level. We are also looking at something called firm building. Now, there's no reason why this cannot be looked at across levels. Obviously, the weightage to be given would be different. But there are a lot of things that are done which are not billable, but they're required to build a firm, and they don't get acknowledged. So that's something that you all can look at building in. Initiative I spoke about, reliability, deadlines, consistency, follow through. How many times do you have to reach out to that person to get the job done? Then growth metrics, and obviously in terms of knowledge, the mentoring that they're doing with their people, all that makes a big, big difference. So what's the framework? A simple framework, self-assessment, manager feedback, and obviously the partner will sign off on the observations. Yeah. Simple. Obviously, there are KRA sheets or goal sheets that are available online. Or if you reach out to me and need some help on it, I can also help you out, at least in terms of a format that you can use. So, self-assessment where the employee reflects on what did they accomplish in the year? Was it hard? Where do you want to grow? Based on observations and input from peers and seniors. Metrics, as I told you, do it on a 5-point scale and see how they're doing. Why I say 5-point scale is because you can balance it out properly. Career discussions, what's next? What's the development plan? And then it obviously flows into the compensation review. Written goals for the next year and align with the firm and personal growth. See, this is not a session where I can do a complete performance management and succession planning session, but goals are top down. Delivery is bottom up. So if you're expecting your juniors to set their goals, first start with yours. Don't make them do it, because then you're delivering to their goals. So if you can't find time to write your own goals, then don't bother with performance appraisal at all. It has to be top down. Rating scale. It's not on the screen, but it can be obviously one is exceeds expectations, above expectations, meets expectations, below expectations, and does not meet expectations. That's your 5-point scale also. That's what I was talking about. So that way, when it comes to exceed, it's about how they handle complexity well, how they role model, how they are ready for the next level. Meeting is consistent, reliable, develop steadily. Does not meet or below expectation is where the immediate attention is required, and you move into a PIP structuring of saying that you need to get better, or either the way is upward or outward, So key point is link compensation thoughtfully. Professional services people are sensitive to compensation increments, especially, I've seen a lot of them take it very personally. If you give 5% to one person and 8% to the other, they will know. It's a small unit. Be transparent on the logic, because that will give you the edge. So, for example, for the person that got the 8%, you just don't say vaguely and arbitrarily, oh, we think you are worth 8%. I don't think anybody would like to know their worth in a percentage, right? Rather than that, what you can say is that you've handled complex engagements independently. You've mentored 3 juniors. You've delivered 2,100 billable hours, and this warrants the 8%. And have a similar criteria for what has warranted the 5%. The rating scale aligns with the percentage that you're going to pay out. So how you do the mathematics between, as I told you, between the technical, behavioral, and growth metrics, or development metrics, or rather between technical and behavioral primarily, is where you can align your rating to the payout, and you can have descriptors of that. So be clear rather than just saying you're worth 8%. That will create chaos in your company. So as I said, frequency, formal appraisal you can do once a year. Do it post your busy season. Quarterly check-ins, which are semi-structured, and monthly conversations are the most important. See, it's a compounding effect. You don't do the monthly, quarterly becomes difficult. You don't do the quarterly, annual becomes difficult. Similarly, if you do the monthly, quarterlies become easier because you're just compounding what you discussed over the 3 months. One trick that a manager used to use is something that he used to call a red book. I explained to him that let's not call it a red book. So basically, writing down in that monthly meeting itself, he would write down what are the good things that the person has done and where he has not been successful. So when the quarterly part came up, he just referred to the 3 monthly meetings he had to develop the quarterly one. So you see, it's about the effort in people that you put in that pays back. Coming to things that will make your life a little easier. Number one, you don't need a 50-page manual. Okay. Many CA firms partners, do I really need a whole employee handbook? No. But you need the essentials. Simple wins over comprehensive every time. A 10-page handbook will beat a 50-page manual any day. So what are the must-haves? Values and culture is very critical. I keep on harping on it because even startup founders that I talk to, I say that you seem to be living a certain code of ethics, but how do you know that this is the same code of ethics that you want followed by the rest? And that's where the fun begins, because then he's thrown off completely because he realizes that he's not communicated what he feels is the value of his organization or the culture that he wants to drive in that organization. And one more thing where value and culture is that if you're a firm that is young, involve the set of people that are critical to you in the conversation of building the firm's value and culture. Don't just build it on your own beliefs alone, because it will be a collective values and culture that you're building. Code of conduct, see, I can't believe in today's day and time that you, if you'll have pen drives lying around or your laptops, which are, it's becoming a big problem in the professional services industry, and it's becoming a big problem on the AI side of it also. I'll tell you why. Beyond the regular confidentiality ethics, stealing clients, etc. The other part is a lot of us are putting in a lot of client data into ChatGPT or Perplexity or Gemini, etc., without realizing that you have opened up the doors of the client information to the world. So, that's where now AI training on ethics is becoming as important in firms, because while firms find it that their work is getting easier, they're also giving away a lot of client information and also making it easier for another firm to get that information. Working hours and attendance expectations, be clear on what you want. See, if somebody asked me, one of the questions is, how do I drive discipline? How do I keep control and drive discipline as I become a professional firm? See, there's a lot of difference between those two words, control and discipline. Discipline is how a set of guidelines that you would like to follow. Control is saying that you are the law. Now, there's a difference between those two. So you got to be clear in terms of what is driving that discipline. So that's where code of conduct comes in. Working hours and attendance expectations do tie it in with the flexibility that I spoke about regarding season and non-season. Leave policy, casual, sick, earned, special, maternity. have this clearly applicable, and have it, see, here is at least where you can benchmark to at least a certain, this is where you can be different. Remote work, if that applies to you all. Performance and feedback processes, exactly what I spoke to you about in the prior slide. You need to get that documented, that you will have a manager check-in every month. You will have a quarterly informal, formal feedback, and an official annual feedback. Then a grievance procedure. Here I'm including, say, grievance includes a very important policy which comes into play when you're of a certain size, which is POSH as well. Then another document that you need to have or is your role clarity document. For at least have it for 4 levels, the article, the senior, article, junior, senior, manager, and partner. At least have these 4 roles documented and structured in your organization. Key responsibilities of that role, success metrics of that role, the growth path. How much time will it take you to grow? So where growth paths are concerned also, you can have 2 types of growth paths. We realized along the way that some individuals, you can have your traditional growth path and you can have a high performer growth path, or what we call a high potential growth path. So people know that if they're doing well, we don't stick to the traditional growth path and they can grow faster. And then obviously your offer letter template and your joining checklist, first day, etc., IT tour, week 1, role clarity, compliance, IT systems. Then tier 2 is what you should have within, say, 6 months, detailed leave policy, performance management, whatever's on screen right now, And nice to have would be your wellness policy when you become of size and grow, proper documented grievance and disciplinary procedure, succession planning framework, detailed code of conduct, all of that. The document reality. Length matters, dense 50-page is not going to get you anywhere. Have it digital, have it available digitally rather than handouts. I think nobody does that now. Update them yearly, see whether they are relevant to the times. Make it real. Policies are good. Consistency in applying them is everything. If you have a policy and then it's not enforced, it destroys trust. Moving on. Sorry, 1 second. I think technology and HR systems, there were some questions around this as well that had come. I'll try and answer them as I take it forward, The process, the sequence that we follow, I'll move faster also because of time. Now, before you get into tools now, if you don't have your processes in place, you'll fall into the trap of buying software with the hope of fixing your problems. It won't. Software will only amplify bad processes. So good tools plus bad processes is an expensive bad process, simply putting it. And design your processes first, live them manually for 2-3 months. Then choose the software. What I mean them live manually is use spreadsheets, use email, use whatever, but actually do it and see that it's working before you choose a tool to do it. Then obviously comes the part about choosing the tool. Sorry, I'll just scroll up a little over here so you all can see the sheet. Sorry. Sorry, I skipped a few. Yeah, so over here, there are some vendors. Darwinbox is intuitive and India focused, but very expensive. Zoho People is something that is affordable. Bamboo HR is there. Grey HR is a very India compliant, is an Indian compliance expert, which does automation as well. GuidePoint is lightweight. Then there are other softwares also. So ROI is that it replaces spreadsheets and ensures compliance. Payroll softwares, there's GreyHR, Gusto, QuickBooks, Keka. These one penalty that you avoid pays for the software itself. Yeah. So that's the ROI. Moving on, I think somebody wanted to know what project management softwares they could use. And one that came to mind was, I'll tell you, where did it go? Sorry, just give me a second. I've written it down for that person. It was, so hold on a second, guys. The question was that what can we use for, so Zoho has automation software that can help with workload. There is also another software. Just give me a second. I'll tell you the software name as well. What was the software? Anyway, I'll share it with the relevant in due course. Yeah. So I have it in my questions actually. Now I remember. Go live. I think that the ideal roadmap that one should follow. I'll go fast on this because when you actually do it, it's going to be a different topic. But month 1 and 2 is planning. Month 3 is go live. 4 and 6 are to stabilize and then fully migrate. The reality of the whole situation is that you don't need all of the tools. You need an HRMS which can record and comply, a payroll which is automatic and compliant. Later, you can add performance management softwares. You can add your project tracking or your timesheets, etc. That can come later on. See, at the end of the day, tools don't fix the culture; they protect it. They make it fair. They make fairness visible, and they will be the ones that help you scale. Moving on. Yeah. So I think that this is an interesting one, and building the team and culture. We've covered systems. Let's talk about culture now. Culture is not perks. Culture is not your TT table or Karim table. Firms think that we'll do a team lunch, we'll give a gym allowance, we'll allow work from home. Those are nice, but they're not culture. What is culture are shared values, psychological safety, mentorship, recognition, fairness. And psychological safety is one of the most important because half of the time your people don't speak up. When they're asked questions or they just don't speak up about any of the challenges and they go under the carpet. So, or they don't even own up to their own mistakes. So you only find out about a mistake when the client tells you about the mistake. So mentorship is something that you'll have to invest in. They need to see you as mentors. You are your own retention engine. So a lot of, I don't need to tell you how many people when they reach partnership level have her entire army of people moving with them when they move companies. Yeah. One such example is the great Mr. Dinesh Kanabar. And you can see where he is now and the people that he has taken with him at every stage. They move with them. So it's something that he built early on also. And I think that that's something that you all can also look at building early on. Again, it comes down to articulation of your, sorry, I'll just take this chart down a little. It comes to articulating your values, creating your rituals. You can call them your weekly huddles. You can call them your town halls, your appreciation. Build connection. The values need to come out in hiring, onboarding, and appraisals. Your rituals will build connection. And finally, your mentorship is where And your mentorship program is where you will build your informal, formal, it's where learning will happen. So I think that that's where the true learning happens. When I see a lot of young chartered accountants huddled around their partners, and that's where the actual learning is happening, when they are solving a problem together or where they're learning from the partner. Workload reality. Be clear about workload. Lot of the attrition that happens in firms is after a particular assignment that has wiped out the entire energy of that person. And if the same person is exhausted every year, automatically that becomes unsustainable and he will leave. Culture killer is, we are always busy, we are always a busy firm. Without any acknowledgement and relief is not going to make you an attractive place. Nobody wants to work where they are always busy. So while, there are certain stalwarts of the industry that believe differently, the current generation definitely does not believe in that. So this is to do with the compliance and labor laws. Fortunately, the new labor codes expanded compliance, but for CA firm, it still remains relatively simple. Your EF and PSIC, payroll accuracy and compliance, leave policy by state, contracts and documentation. If you want to know what has changed primarily, gratuity now applies to 10 plus employees. So that becomes a challenge. Occupational work safety codes have extended to mental health and reasonable hours. So that can be reviewed. So, your best system can be your worst problem, because those systems record time. And if it's not reasonable, you can come under the ambit of a review. So remote work has some specific state rules. So, well, say you're in the business of doing work or doing accounting work, tax work. So if you want a sense of relief, I think that you can tie up with a firm like Grey HR or a Parijita or Mind. And yes, it is worth it, because one penalty pays for the entire year of outsourcing. Bottom line, use a compliant payroll software, deposit on the first of every month, keep documentation, very important, align policies to state law, and you're done. Compliance is handled. Now, coming to something that everybody would like to know, and whoever's left attending at this late hour, I think we are down to 20 people now, out of which 4 of you all are there. So that's fine. But I think that this is something that's interesting and you would like to know, So if you're who's going to do the HR work? So if you're 5 to 15 people, it's going to be the partner or the founder. A commitment that's required is 10 to 15 hours. If you outsource a certain part of it, there's a cost involved. If you're 15 to 30 people, it's time to bring in a part-time HR. Now here, you will say that where will I get a part-time HR? A good way to do it is that if you have a secretary, hire a secretary who can do administrative work. So an admin come HR secretary who spends half of the time on either matter. And when you go up to 30 to 50 people, you definitely need an HR generalist plus an admin person that comes in. And when you're 50 plus, you'll need a CHRO. CHRO is a big word. Maybe you can start with a person that heads HR. You'll have to see how it works out for you, what type of person you need. You're not going to invest in a full-blown CHRO of 20 years when you're 50 people. But as you grow, the investment in it grows. Yeah. See, the one key thing that I can give you is that HR investment always pays for itself. usually by preventing one departure, it is automatically going to pay for itself. So, if you're looking at HR costs, look at the attrition reduction cost. So that's how you arrive at determining what is the right HR investment. So no, I'm not the kind of person to say that every firm requires whatever size requires an HR person, but it does require people management. And that's something that the partner needs to do till such time that he reaches size. So we've come towards the end where we look at why. Let's move the index from why people leave to why people want to stay. They want to stay because they have clarity of their role, growth expectations. The feedback is regular and not annual. You have the firm investing in them, skill development, CA exam support. I mean, just by doing a session such as myself, some of you all may have found it valuable, some of you all not. Culture, mentorship, fairness, and recognition is there. There are systems and not everything operating off the founder's memory, which is already clouded with a number of things that he needs to do. So, what's your indicative action plan going to be for the next, 90 days? Start off by auditing your onboarding, appraisals, documentation. You have start there. Draft at least one document, an onboarding checklist, if nothing else, or a role clarity document for the 4 key levels that I spoke about. Implement one. See if you're ready to implement an HRMS, do follow the path of process before automation. And finally, converse growth-related focus teams, conversations that will build the future. And this is just an indicative. I'm not forcing you to do anything, but I thought at least where to start would be an internal assess yourself first. Systems will not replace culture. They will protect it. They will help you scale it. They will make fairness visible. And this is what people are looking for more than just money. So with that, some key takeaways. You're not alone. Turnover is the #1 challenge. It is fixable. Onboarding, clarity, and investments are key. Systems do matter. Infrastructure is required to scale. Bureaucracy needs to go out of the door. You cannot afford to have bureaucracy at this stage of your growth. Start small, begin with one policy, one tool, one conversation. It pays. Retention saves money, builds stability. It's urgent. Act now, or your talent loss is going to be costly to you. With that, I come to an end. Let me know how I can help you. It's an HR presentation. I don't expect it to be engaging, and I don't expect it to be something that everybody stays for. But if whoever stayed on has sought the value out of it, I'm highly appreciative. Thank you. Guys, you there?
Hello. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Pakzad ji. Anant, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Have you received any questions from the participants?
We have not received questions in the chat, but I think Pakzad sir has
I
already covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while I was covering the slides, I covered the questions that were asked as well.
Yes,
There
yes.
was one question that possibly that I've not answered was on the structuring of a firm of, say, how would you structure a firm of, say, 50 people? And I think that that also actually I addressed. I said that 50% will go in articles, and sorry, I'll just see it. It's more like a pyramid. 50% articles, 20% juniors, 15% seniors, 10% managers, and 5% partners. Ideally, that's how the scaling of a 50% or 60% practice should go. So that helps in terms of how you do your span of control as well. So other than that, nothing here. I hope that my long and treacherous presentation has had some value with you guys.
Thanks for that. It was actually a very insightful session. Now, without taking much time, I would request now Anand to propose a well-deserved vote of thanks.
All right. So before we
Harsh,
wrap up, a big thank you to
Just
Pakzad.
one second, Anand.
Harsh, we will
Paras-
put this presentation on the YouTube or LinkedIn.
Yes. We have recorded this and we will be uploading it on YouTube.
So that
Great.
the other participants can take advantage of it as the things progresses for them who
Sure.
are not able to attend it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let me know when you'll upload it. I'll share and give it a little bit of mileage.
Sure, sir.
Hmm?
Yeah, Anand.
Okay. So a big thank you to Pakzad sir for such a real and relatable session. So like losing good people is something almost every growing CA firm is going through, but not many talk about it. So the way you take us through the tough experiences into practical HR systems, we actually use, and that was super valuable. So I'm sure everyone here is living with at least one solid change to make in their firm. And so Paksat sir, thanks for being so honest, practical, and generous with your insights. And thank you everyone for joining and made this session engaging. So let's build our firms together and build better firms. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Sounds.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Good night.
Thank you, Chalo. Bye. It's a
Bye.
really
Bye.
insightful session for all of us. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm.